Howdy folks, it is Diecast Buffet here again. Welcome back to NASCAR '06 Career Mode. Well, a crazy endurance race at Charlotte saw us pretty much start a absolute demolition derby. We wrecked the whole field there, unfortunately. Edwards even got wrecked. He was dominating, but he still gained some points on us. 71 points, give or take, is the championship margin with 4 races to go, and the final wild card race of the season is at Old Spice Speedway, which is a road course. Anything can happen, and we're gonna head out there and hey, see if we can get it done. We've had some great battles here, guys. Some great battles, great wins here. This can be fun. Alrighty, folks. So it's time for the final road course race of the year. Let's just say Roush had all 3 of their cars outside of the top 10 at Charlotte. All 3 of them are top 3. I mean, it's a revenge show for the Roushketeers, and this is the longer of 2 road course races here at Old Spice. So this is the big show. Oh, whoa. That was kind of weird right there. Edwards jumps out, and you're trying to make that little carousel there. Anyways, dive through the snake pit here, the S's. Again, too wide here, barely works. I'm going to be very conservative here. Give them plenty of room. Let's just, mind our P's and Q's, get through lap 1. Let's not run over everybody. Look, it's a long race. 18 laps here. It's a long race. Plus, I know we have a better long run car than the AIs. Their tires will wear a little bit faster than me. So, the last 2 to 3 laps of the fuel run, guess what? I'll be really catching them. So for me, just keep it in the ballpark. Just be patient, and we'll find a way to get to the end. I love this race, though. It's one of my favorite events in the entire game is the 18-lap race at Old Spice Speedway. I love this track, man. Road course racing and Busch cars is so much fun. I wish there was more road courses. I legit wish there was more road courses. It's funny how, in this game, they actually had the Chicago street course. Like, could you imagine the year 2004 saying, oh, they're going to do a Chicago street course? And it won't be like, oh, that's a pipe dream, right? That's a pipe dream. They actually have it in this game. You have to use a cheat code to get it. So in Chase of the Cup '05, it was called something else. But in this game, it's sponsored. So it's like Walmart Raceway or something. Anyways, basically... EA Sports predicted that the Chicago street course was going to happen 20 years later. Now, I have a theory how they came up with that. I have one theory. What if there was a think tank back in the 2000s from the NASCAR brass of the most craziest things they can do in stock car racing for the future? And they had planned on doing this before Brian France took over the sport and kept the schedule complacent for 2 decades almost, right? So what if they said, we're going to do a stadium race in the next 10 years. We're going to have an international cup race in the next 10 years or X, Y, and Z. And then Brian France takes over, in '03. And all that got, thrown out the window. What if that was the theory? And EA Sports heard about it and said, this would be cool to put in one of our NASCAR games. That's a random theory, right? And then theory number 2 is EA Sports, they just had a think tank. And they just said, what would be a cool idea to add to the NASCAR game? And it was just a bunch of random, people at EA Sports who are passionate about racing games. And they said, you know what? Let's do a stadium race. Let's have a street course. My point is, somewhere, somehow in the 2000s, someone predicted the future. It's crazy. Trying to make this pass on Matt Kenseth here. Oh, no, he came down a little bit there, to be honest with you. I was already committed. He came down a little bit. I love you, Kenseth, but I feel like we could have raced each other a little easier. I'm sorry for making contact, but he did come down a little bit. I kind of came up a little bit. I'll take the fault for it, though. We're getting on Carl Edwards now. But it's just so interesting to think that, just imagine it's Christmas Day 2004, and you're playing Chase of the Cup, and you're racing on the Chicago street course. And you're like, wow, this is so fake. And then 20 years later, you're like, what the heck? They're actually doing it. It's crazy, right? I think it's called Lakeshore Drive in Chase of the Cup, which is like the exact location, or at least close to it, I believe, to the real Chicago street course race. I'm just saying it's crazy. It's just crazy. And, you know, you think about all the things EA Sports are predicting, and here's a few of them. You had the Chicago street course, for one. You had the Dodge Raceway Stadium, which is a stadium event, which I personally think, at the time of this video, this has not been announced or nothing, but I think in the future, NASCAR will host races at different stadiums. Especially when the vehicles go electric, the emissions, you know, carbon monoxide and stuff, it'll be a lot easier for them to go to indoor stadiums, like a SoFi Stadium or Dallas Cowboys Stadium. I could see that happening. I really do. I could see them setting up a temporary track in a NFL stadium, because the market share would be huge. So I could see that. Trying to be patient with Carl Edwards here. I don't want to wreck him. We're racing for the championship. You think about all the night races, you know, they've had as options. This is back when Chicagoland didn't have lights. This is back when I don't think Kansas had lights. You had the option to run Chicagoland at night, Kansas at night. This is back when I don't even think Darlington had lights, and you had the option for that in the EA Sports games. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, Darlington does have lights in this game, but before, like in Thunder 02 or Thunder 03 or whatnot, it didn't. Do you pit here or do you not pit? I don't know what they're going to do here. Nope, he's staying out. And then you have Rockingham that has a night race. You know, they didn't get lights. And then how about Texas Motor Speedway's Roval? You know, Martinsville night race is another one you could add. Texas Motor Speedway's Roval. Could you say that predicted a Charlotte, you know, Roval, even though it's a backwards track because you're, you know, on the high banks turning right? You could say they predicted the Roval. And here's another slam dunk one. The Daytona infield. Did they not predict that NASCAR would race a infield race at Daytona? Guess what they did in 2020 and 2021. And I do think they will run another one eventually there. Especially with the sports car Le Mans 24 hours deal. It would be great advertisement to run another road course race there with the Cup cars. Trying to make the pass here on Carl Edwards. We should be able to get him here. Look, I'm going to go to the bottom. If you come down on me, that's you. Oh, botched the corner. I slammed on the brakes, twitched it, couldn't make it stick. That was my bad. A buttload of cars have already pitted here, so we're going to lose track position to them. So I think it's in our best interest to pit this time. Just mind-boggling, guys, how EA Sports has predicted so many things, or they knew, like NASCAR had a paper in their office decades ago with the craziest ideas for stock car racing, and they found a way to get a hold of it. I'm going to go ahead and pit. Look, I'm getting close on fuel, and you could gun it down to this right here, lock it up. Holy cow. It could not have been closer there, guys. How did we not get a speeding penalty? Holy moly. Dude, we were gunning it. Wow. That was insane. Thank you, Lord. Knock on wood. Hope we get a good pit stop, guys. If we have a great pit stop here, we have a great opportunity to win this event. You know, it's just crazy, all the different racetracks. You know, now there's like, at the time of this video, there's rumors about a New York street race. Well, there's a New York racetrack, even though it's not a street race in the EA Sports games. It's like a real fantasy racetrack because it's got high banks and crazy streets and stuff. But the fact that they even had the idea of putting one in New York is really, really interesting. I just think the EA games, it's fascinating to see their wildest, you know, designs for racetracks slowly bear fruit and become real things. Like, if you ask me here in 2023, do I think the Cup Series will run some sort of a beach race at Daytona in the future? I absolutely do believe it 100%. 100%. If they can bring back Rockingham, North Wilkesboro, Nashville Fairgrounds, run Bristol Dirt, Daytona Infield, I mean, if they can do a Le Mans 24-hour race, whatever the biff they want to do with the Cup cars, believe me, I truly do think one day they will do a Daytona Beach race again. I 100% believe that. When will they do it? Who knows? But I do believe one day they will. Because the marketing for it will be massive. Alright, so we're going to be ahead of Carl Edwards here. by a large margin. And that's the beauty of pitting early. We were aggressive on pit road. We pitted early. So we have not only, what is it? Probably 20 car lengths on them. We still got the rest of the leaders who are on the pit strip right now. We're 7th place, so regardless how this thing shakes out, we're in good shape. And the 184 car, that's a long pit road, guys. It is by far the longest pit road in stock car racing. Because even after you get done with your pit stop, you got an egregiously long pit exit when you have to run minimum speed. It is ridiculous. And look at that right there. 3.3 seconds on Carl Edwards. But this race is not over. A caution could change things very quickly. We did pit late, so we're good on fuel. But for us, no mistakes. Take care of the car, take care of the tires, bring it on home. Looking for our 10th win here at the NASCAR Busch Series. But that's why I love this race. It feels like an endurance. It's just fun. It's a long, long road course. To add context, Watkins Glen is like 6 laps for the Busch Series. This race is 18 laps. You know what I'm saying? This track's a little bit smaller than Watkins Glen. It's obviously faster than Watkins Glen, but it races a lot. Like, the whole event is significantly longer than the Watkins Glen one, is what I'm trying to get at. So anyways, me and my crazy ramblings about stock car racing and the things you usually never hear. Like, one thing I've learned, guys, and this is really out of left field. I don't know if you've seen this, but on the Dale Jr. download, they've had, like, this, at the time of this video, they have this new, like, episode segment thing where they talk about motorsports business, so the business side of it. So it'd be the TV deals, the merchandising, X, Y, and Z. I have learned more in the, like, watching 6 YouTube videos from this series than I had the last 6 years of watching NASCAR Race Hub. I've learned more about NASCAR watching those 6 tiny episodes that are like 10 minutes long than I have in the last 6 years, or 7 years, 8 years of watching NASCAR Race Hub. That's how bland that show is. It's like they don't want to show anything about the sport. They don't want to show the behind the scenes. They just want to keep it all polished and perfect, and it's all a mystery. It's stupid. Just tell me what it is, you know? I like the behind the scenes. I like knowing how things actually work. And I think that's something that's really changed in the NASCAR media, is that if I want to look up, retired Hendrick race cars, right? Like, if I want to figure out what happened to some of Jimmy Johnson's or Jeff Gordon's old COTs, there's YouTube channels that have that, where you can literally look it up and they go to, like, part yards, or they call them NASCAR, like, graveyards or training areas, and they have identification numbers on the chassis. Well, when NASCAR, races happen, they have numbers, they mark them, and they register them and stuff like that. So there's a way to go back and see which races those events, those cars ran at, perhaps which teams owned them. So there's so much history. Yet you hear none of that on NASCAR Race Up. It's just 3 people talking in front of a CGI studio that looks so cheesy. I just think if you're like a NASCAR fan in the modern day, the best way to get your midweek fix is on YouTube. I'm just going to keep it real. Because the daytime NASCAR television, it sucks. It really does. I'm sorry. And this has come from someone who used to watch NASCAR Race Up every single day. Back like 2014, 2013, 2015. It fell off a cliff the last 6 years. It's bad. So anyways, we're coming closer and closer to the white flag here at Old Spice. Another thing I've noticed, guys, look at the back end of the car. Look at where between the wheels. You see that, like, those 3 little, it looks like a diffuser, right? That's where the gas tank is. I always thought those 3 little rails there were just there for a structure of the gas tank. So if one side gets, hit by a car, it doesn't compromise the entire tank. Now, that might be the intended, construction of that. But if you really look at it from a modern day Gen 7 perspective, it literally is a diffuser. You cannot tell me those little strokes at the bottom of the car is not aerodynamically affecting the rear downforce. You cannot tell me those little rails in the back of the car, they're like support beams, are not supporting the rear downforce of this car. So this whole time, everyone was, saying, oh, diffusers on stock cars, these things don't belong here. White flag in Old Spice Speedway. But it's funny how we've technically always had them. They were just very minimal. Whatever structure or box they have around the gas tank or anything under the car, truly, to be honest with you, in a way affects the wake that goes underneath the car. So what do you get? You get a kind of a homemade diffuser. It's weird. I still don't think they'd belong on a stock car, but I'm just keeping it real. So anyways, domination by Roush, kind of the revenge tour, and this is the perfect remedy you need for a horrible night at Charlotte. 10th win of the year. Holy cow, pop the champagne. What a big day for the Roushketeers. Edwards is going to get second, but he's going to lose minimal amount of points. This championship battle, it's getting good. It's getting good, man. Two Roush teammates just duking it out. It's like, who can win? Edwards wins one race, I go win another race, he wins a race. It's just, what an awesome season, man. Really cool to see the old Roushketeers duking it out. And this is the big road course race. I would argue this is the biggest road course race the Busch Series runs because, like I said, it's an endurance. It's 18 freaking laps. I mean, that's a long time compared to Watkins Glenn's 6-lap, warm-up. I haven't done a burnout over here, so I want to do one over here as well. This would be an absolute beautiful racetrack to do photography at. I'm just keeping it real. Like, the mountains. This racetrack would be absolutely beautiful to do photography at. Could you imagine if you could get a professional camera and just go to that racetrack? This place would be beautiful. A huge win. And somehow Edwards still gets the max points day. So you know what happens? We gained, drum roll, 5 points. Yeah, that's Busch Series racing for you guys. So everyone else is pretty much monkeys in a barrel. They're just going crazy. No consistency. It's just a Ford playground, and that's really what this season's about. Chevrolet has won every championship in this playthrough, and even going back into the historical records, you think about from 2003 to 2009 or 2008 in this playthrough, Chevrolet has won every Busch championship. Brian Vickers 03, Truex in 04, and this playthrough it was Labonte in 05 and 06, Shane Emil in 07, and then J.J. Yaley in 2008. Greg Biffle won the 02 Busch championship with Ford. Harvick won it in 01, but my point is that Ford has pretty much not had a dog in the hunt. And then they just ponied up, took 3 very hungry drivers, Kenseth, Edwards, and myself, and we just destroyed the whole field. It's embarrassing how bad they are. Who's this dude? Who's this Blues Clues looking cat over here? Come on, man. He's mad about something, but hey, we're winning races though. That's pretty good. Alrighty, folks, so we are in the dog's days of the fall season, the last month of the season, and 3 races to go. Homestead, Phoenix, Texas, and, of course, your routine angry driver, so we'll go ahead and take care of him. Look at that. We got our hero villain all the way up to hero. 3 stars in or 3 bars in the Prestige, and we got full fan support. So, we're rocking and rolling right now, guys. 73,000 more prestige we need to get to level 8. I don't know when the Biff would get a Cup Series contract. I honestly thought it was like level 5, level 6. I was really thinking you would get an entry-level contract and still nothing left. But 76 points with 3 races, and all 3 of them, anything could happen. We've seen calamity at Homestead. We've seen calamity at Phoenix and Texas. This championship's not over, guys. If you want to watch a traditional championship battle, Stay tuned to this series. It's going to be a great finish. Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson have gotten around Greg Biffle, but one thing about Biffle, he's good at Homestead. Watch out for the Biff. He could win that race. And the drivers do fare better at certain racetracks in this game. That's one thing I've noticed. But and that's another aspect to it, guys. It's not guaranteed that Roush is going to want us back next year. I mean, most likely they will, but it's not guaranteed. What do we do next year? I have no idea. Still no contracts, guys. I mean, we could buy any truck team we want. We literally, or except for our old team, we literally can buy Roush's truck team. We could just say, you know what, screw it. We're just going to be a truck team owner. We're just going to be a owner driver. That'd be great. Wow. The cheapest Busch team, I think, is like, let's see, what's the cheapest Cup team? Let's see, it's $8 million. I think the cheapest Busch team is actually like $4 or $5 million. So I mean, we could buy ourselves our own Busch team. Anyways, folks, thank you all so much for watching the video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. For all the cats out there who want to help support the channel, make sure you use Circle B Diecasts for your diecast shopping needs. Use promo code over there at checkout. That's where I get all my diecasts from, unless they're out of stock, then you have to go somewhere else. But that's why you pre-order. That's why you get your stuff before it sells out, and you can save on shipping with that code. But I just feel like something is going to happen in these 3 races that's going to make Homestead a nail-biting, hair-splitting race. Like, I feel like we're going to have a DNF or some bugaboo at Phoenix, and we're going to go to Homestead 10 points in, 10 points out for the championship lead, and it's going to be a nail-biter. So, I don't know. Every championship we've pretty much done in this entire channel's history, whether it's Thunder 03, Thunder 04, very rarely do we get to the final stretch of the season and enter the final race with a massive points lead. My point is that something always happens. It's just destiny at this point. So, have a great one, everybody. Diecast Buffet, signing off.